Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It's me, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live on this edition of Rogius W. And I have with us the man of the hour, my cohort and fellow wingman, the one and only Cowboy is here. And we're going to be breaking down some news and some important information. With that being said, good morning, Cowboy. How are you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing, bro?
Hanging in there, man. Hopefully you had a good weekend. My weekend was pretty good. Relaxed, took it easy. And that's about it, brother. You know?
Yeah, definitely restful.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. There's a lot going on, man. A lot going on. I mean, there's the rate cuts that are going to be incoming. There's this wall. There's this war that's being fought between Trump and his people, and as well as against the Fed. You know, Jerome Powell, a person that he appointed. You know, is this kayfabe? Or is this reality? You know, people are there are rumors and talks about, are they going to nationalize the Fed?
Oh, well, at this point, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. People are like, oh, he's going to nationalize the Fed. Assholes. Your entire Congress and Senate is compromised, bought, and paid for. And the vast majority of them are financially illiterate. They don't understand monetary theory. They don't even understand how a central bank even works. So if they all of a sudden nationalize the Fed and put the Fed under the Treasury, does that really matter? I mean, if I take $10 out of one pocket on my right pocket and put it into my left pocket, does that really change the very properties of the $10 bill that I have in my pocket?
You just took energy to move it from one pocket to another.
Exactly. And that's why I think this is all kayfabe. I think this is all like just theater, man. You know? And the question becomes, are we going to get lower interest rates? You know, Cowboy and I have been saying it's coming. It has to come. And the reason why it has to come is because of the simple fact that they need to overheat. They need to blow a bigger bubble. The largest asset bubble in human history, okay, was blown in 2008 all the way through 2000, actually right after 2008 on until like 2015. And it continued to grow. Nobody deflated it. Nobody corrected it. Nobody fixed it. They just kept blowing bubbles. And all they've done is add more and more bullshit to it. You explain to me how Apple Computers is worth $1 trillion. Explain to me how NVIDIA is worth $4 trillion. These are bullshit numbers. It's the biggest bubble. There's nothing underlying any one of these companies. But the bubble must blow, baby. The bubble must blow. Gotta keep blowing that bubble. That's why, you know, this rate cut, you know, they're talking about it and whatnot. They're like, oh, it's coming. So it doesn't matter. Majority of Americans are still going to be impoverished. Is it really going to lower property values? I don't think so. You're just making money even cheaper so BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard and all these REITs can go out and buy more and more properties. After all, you'll own nothing, rent, and be happy. Is this going to bring down car payments? Used car prices are through the bloody roof. Is that going to help the average American afford a car? No. You might not get a maybe $50 to $100 knocked off of a monthly payment on your 286-month loan that you took out on your Ford F-150 or your Toyota Camry. But it's not overall going to help you. Is any of this bank stimulus going to reduce the cost of energy, Cowboy?
No. I mean, did you see the post that I put in our private chat, you mean Velas, about Larry Ellison?
No, bring it up.
So this is what this rate cut is going to allow more of what you're about to see here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Larry Ellison is he Oracle? Is that who he is?
Yeah, he's Oracle.
So this is really good. It's on X, And here he is with his, 22-year-old girlfriend, whatever she is. I don't know. Good for
Wow.
him.
No.
I'm not hating.
How much Botox does that dude has on his face? Good.
Yeah, he's.
Okay.
So it says, be me, Larry Ellison. Own a database empire, sailboat, and disdain for poor people.
Not to mention an island off in Hawaii. He owned an island. But go ahead.
These guys with their islands. OpenAI wants to build AGI. For those of you who don't know, AGI is general intelligence, right? We'll explain that later. Needs compute, a lot of compute, like 300 billion GPU cluster in a volcano levels of compute.
Fucking insane.
Hello, I own Oracle Cloud. Also, I'm rich. He signs a $300 billion GPU hosting deal with OpenAI. Nothing ships, no GPUs installed, no fans spinning. Oracle stock skyrockets to the moon. My net worth, Larry Ellison, is up $100 billion. GPUs still imaginary.
Welcome to the American economy, baby.
Oh, it gets better. OpenAI raises a $1 trillion round. Yes, trillion with a T. Investors lining up like it's a Taylor Swift concert.
That's right.
I invest. Where'd I get the money? From the $300 billion deal I signed with them. Yes, because that's all they did is sign. OpenAI takes my $300 billion investment, uses it to pay me, Larry Ellison, for the GPU deal I offered them, because all you had to do was offer it.
Mm-hmm.
Oracle stock skyrockets again. I, Larry Ellison, make another $100 billion. I invested back into OpenAI. Round and round we go. I pay me, to invest in me, to boost me, to get paid by me.
I love it.
Call it a strategic whatever. Call it an AI innovation. Call it what it is. Infinite money glitch. MFW, that's one I don't know. I built a recursive economy where I am the only customer and vendor. GPUs are optional. Capitalism is just a well-placed loop with exit liquidity.
Yeah.
Me for the win. MFW, I'm assuming me for the win. All right, so that's what. And the more like this kind of shit, it means nothing, right? They're not building anything. Nothing's happening. It's all fake, right? This guy right here continues to buy islands and young girls and who knows what else. Although the guy probably spent $1 million in Botox for his face.
Yeah.
And God bless him. I mean, whatever. He found the system and he's making it work. I honestly,
you know what this isn't? In the Western world, this is considered markets and economy, and it's all flashy. But in the real world, in the world where real countries with real growth, like China, which obliterates the American economy in a major way, it's a much bigger economy than the United States with real fucking liquidity, right? In the real world, this is called bullshit and fraud.
I was gonna say fraud. Yeah, they'd have put his ass in jail in China for this.
Ellison did this in China, he'd be in jail. Ellison did this in Russia, he'd be in jail. Ellison did this in the UAE, he'd be in jail. Ellison does this in the United States. Oh, he's an investment genius. He's a fucking crook. You want to know why you can't afford a house? Because of assholes like him. You want to know why you can't buy a car? Because of assholes like him. You want to know why your college is expensive? Because of assholes like him. You want to know why this country's fucked up and we're occupied and we can't get nowhere and get anything done? Because of assholes like him. You want to know why you can't afford food? Because of assholes like him. You want to know why your gas prices are continuing to rise? You want to know why there's all this Green New Deal and all these solar panels and energy efficient light bulbs and fuel efficient cars, but the energy costs are through the fucking roof? Because assholes like him. You want to know why we don't have real capitalism? Because assholes like him.
Yeah, look, Harry Hokunin called him Tony Stank.
Yeah, Stony Stank.
Stony Stank.
Fraudsters, con men, grifters. That's what these guys are. And that's what the entire investment class is. This is a rentier economy. A rent-seeking economy. A rentier economy. That's what the hell we are. This is not a captain of industry. He's a fraudster of fiat. He's not a real mercantilist. He's a monetary mercenary. That's what these guys are.
Yeah, rent seeking is the act of growing one's existing wealth by manipulating public policy or economic conditions without creating new wealth.
Bingo.
No
That's all it
fans
is.
are spinning.
That's all this is. And you know what? The only way we're going to get in is if we become like them. It's amazing to me. We don't have captains of industry. I think the closest thing we got is Elon Musk. We don't have real captains of industry that are actually making things. And even Elon he's taking advantage of all the paper fraud with the handouts and subsidies and all this other bullshit. It's incredible where we are. We're the largest economy in the world. And you know what we need to do? You know, this thing with Charlie Kirk and talk of Civil War is getting hard. We need something to throw the ne'er-do-wells, give them something to think about. We're gonna start, putting a rumor out there that we're gonna nationalize the Fed. Oh yeah. Nationalize the Fed.
I think we've just gone so far down this road that the only way out is through. I think that if we were to do honest business, everything would fall apart. So
100%.
It's just, they got to ride it till the wheels fall off.
Bingo.
That's the only way that they can do it, and the oligarchs can maintain their power. Because if they started to do honest business, then other people could come up, and they don't want that.
Yeah. No, they don't want that at all. They don't want that at all. That's how bad it is. You see, folks, one of the things I've always said is that, the problem we have with the American deep state, the problem we have with the American economy is there's a point where you have this cancer that continues to grow and to grow and to grow. And the point becomes where the tumor is so large, how do you excise the tumor without killing the host? Well, I'm here to tell you that the tumor is beyond the point of excision right now. It's so fucking massive. You ever seen that documentary of the person who had the world's largest tumor? It was like the size of their stomach. It's like half their, like 30% of their body is like this tumor that grew out of their stomach. Did you ever see that?
I've seen things like it.
Yeah. Or it's like 150-pound tumor. The person can walk around and they have to figure out a way to save this person, cut the tumor out.
They cut the tumor out and they put it in the White House, called it Joe Biden.
Bingo. No, they cut the tumor on. They put it in Congress. It's called congressman. It's called American politics. That's what the tumor is. And this fake ass country with a fake ass economy went to go flex. Do you remember, like about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they wanted to go flex on China. Then China did a military parade, and then all of a sudden, attention. May I have your attention, please? We are doing a new strategy. We are no longer going to have a position of trying to contain China. We're going to focus on Latin and Central America, Central and South America. That's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the Western Hemisphere.
I seem to remember a Simeon telling us about that about 2 years ago, though.
No, I wonder who that guy is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was part of the plan, though. Then it wasn't just China did a parade and all of a sudden we're going to do it. It's like, okay, now it's time.
Yeah, there's no fucking way we're going to contain it. We can't face a real technological peer. I mean, there's so many countries that are ahead of us. But don't worry, Cowboy. We have alien technology from Area 57, from Studio 54. We have alien technology from Studio 54. And because it's not really Area 51, all the shit you're seeing flying around. Give me a fucking break. Studio 50, it's a Hollywood production. Project Bluebeam. Go ahead, Cowboy.
I was going to say, I was going to make a smart-ass comment. Just go ahead.
Man. I like smart-ass comments. Go for
I was going to call it deep storage butt plugs.
That's it. Deep storage butt plugs. We got that. We also got deep storage gold. We don't know where it is, but trust us. It's somewhere there. We also have rare earths, folks. That's right. We're going to be a rival. Like what J.D. Vance says. We're going to be a rival to China. All these peasants working in China. You got peasants right here. We can't afford anything. Dude, I was reading a paper the other day. College endowments, folks. You know, the college endowments, the amount of money they make on equity, on all these stock trades and whatnot, they could pay for every tuition. Harvard's endowment could pay for every single student they have for all 4 years. Did you know that? The type of returns, the type of size of Harvard's endowments, they could pay for all their students for all 4 years. But why doesn't that? Oh, because it's better. It's better the kids spend $80,000 a year going to Harvard. Yeah.
For what? What do they teach him there?
What in the butt? It's the
Oh, we
most
gotta have learned that.
popular. Folks think I'm joking. If you pull up what in the butt, Cowboy, just so that if you're a new listening audience member, I ask you to subscribe. You're gonna get the real behind the scenes, hard hitting news from here. No BS, no chaser. Cowboy, just pull up the article. What in the butt, Harvard? What in the butt? It is a course workshop in Harvard where they teach you to put what in your whatever you want in your butt.
Yeah, grabbing it. Hold on.
You feel like putting whatever you want, man. Watermelon, eggplants, power tools, whatever. There it is. Harvard University offers what in the butt. That's right. That's where your 80 grand goes, motherfucker. What a grift we have going on. What a grift we have going on. Right? We Americans cannot afford to buy a home. The young American couples cannot buy a home, struggling with the cost of energy, struggling with the cost of food, cannot buy a car, cannot buy a bicycle. And Harvard has all the money in the world, so that not a single student has to pay their exorbitant, useless tuition. So what do they give you back? What in the butt? What a scam. What a scam. From the foundation to the topmost stone. What a scam.
Yeah, man, you can learn that stuff for free in prison.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But that's what you want to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the world laughs at us.
The entire Western civilization is a joke, and I don't think there's a reversing it. I don't know what's going to look like. EM has his theories. I have my theories. Everybody has their own postulations and theories. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't even know if I want to be here to see what fucking happens what it looks like. I don't know. It's crazy to me. The fact that we can't do nothing right is egregious. I can't. I can't because we're so brainwashed. We're so inured by axioms and propaganda. My God, if I saw a country doing something better than us, I'd try to copy it. But you know what? Let's kind of do what they're doing, kind of make it our own, maybe do some modifications here and there, maybe make it a little better if possible. Maybe we try a little bit, huh? How about a little? Nope. This is why we can't have nice things, Cowboy.
Well, speaking of copying, I mean, where did the Chinese current system come from? Their economic system and government system?
Well, don't tell the average American this because their head will explode. That system the Chinese use is the very modular economic system that the founding fathers of the United States of America theorized and came up with. It's our system. But no, we let go of that system and decided to follow the Venetian, British, the Anglo-Venetian model of banking and finance. It doesn't work. And now we're a country, we are wretched, poor, blind, and naked. That's who we are. While we boast to the world that we are rich and full of goods and have need of nothing. But reality says you are poor, blind, wretched, and naked. And this is the reality of it. But don't worry, guys. The rate cut's coming. The Fed's going to get nationalized. That is to take these idiots that are still following this Q nonsense and so they can jerk off to it as a victory. Oh, look at this. Yeah, that's right. At this moment, Trump's going to nationalize the Fed. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares.
You know what? I think there's something to care about. I think what is going to happen here and whatever is done, if anything, is going to be laying the groundwork for after everything falls apart, because it's going to fall apart. It's just a math problem at this point, right? Like the rest of the world doesn't want our debt. We're already starting with the stealth yield curve control, which is really the end of an economic empire. So as that happens,
break that down for the layperson, Cowboy. Break that down because that's a very key piece of information.
All right, so yield. Okay, so we have to understand bonds a little bit now, and I want to make this. I want to make the idea of a bond something that we can all understand. Okay. So let's say that the US is able to give somebody a $100 bond, and they say, okay, our tax receipts and our productivity, therefore our tax receipts, will be able to cover this bond in 10 years. You give us $10 now, we're going to give you this bond, and in 10 years, we'll give you $100. Well, that's what a 10-year bond is, right?
Mhm.
So the investment in our debt is such that whoever buys our debt is confident that we're going to be around in 10 years and that we'll be able to give them $100 in 10 years. And that the inflation of our money means that whatever $100 they get in 10 years is going to buy more than what $10 buys now, right? For example, $10 to buy you, I don't know, a loaf of bread at this point, a really nice artisan loaf of bread, not, not your bullshit at the grocery store. So if the inflation is so bad that in 10 years, that $100 doesn't buy you a loaf of bread, then it's a bad bet. So it's you're looking at basically, is this debt worth buying? Is this $100, is this $10 turning into $100 in 10 years worth the risk? Is the country going to be around? Even if it is the inflation going to be so bad? Will it still be worth the money? That's what the bond is. So when somebody, like the way that money moves around the world is in the bond market. It's also in markets and a few other things, but the bond market is pretty much it. The 10-year bond is sort of the currency of much of the world. It's still the dominant currency. It's still the reserve currency. It's the 10-year bond. It's not like they have stacks of dollars and, boxes or bank accounts. So the debt is what matters, right? So when a debt buyer loses confidence in the long-term viability of a country, they're no longer interested in the long-term bonds. Like, am I going to go to Argentina and buy a 30-year bond? No, because their inflation is so high that the $10 that I give them now versus the $100 I get in 30 years, I mean, that's not going to buy you anything. Their inflation is so bad. I don't even know if they're still going to be using the whatever they use down there. I forget their currency. So, the long-term confidence in long-term bonds is the indication of bond buyers' confidence in the long-term viability of a country's economy, is what that means. So if people don't think America is going to be doing too well in 20 years, they're not going to be very interested in our 20-year bonds. It's a very simple way of putting it. Now, the bond demand, the 20-year bond demand going down is very bad. It creates a couple of problems. It creates the inverted yield curve. It means that people purchasing US debt, because it's still very fungible, would rather purchase a 2 or 3 year bond because they have much more confidence that in 2 or 3 years we can honor the bond. Now, it's not going to have as good of a return on that bond from a nominal standpoint, right? So it doesn't look as good on paper because, $10 doesn't turn into 100 or whatever it might be, but they just have more confidence that we're going to be around in 2 or 3 years. So when the world is looking at our long-term debt not being very popular, that is a very bad sign by the numbers. Now the quants are seeing that the confidence in the US is going down because our long-term debt is not trusted. So what do these communist countries do to fake that confidence? Well, they start selling short-term debt to buy long-term debt. There's a lot of creative ways to do this, but long story short, they're buying the long-term bond. And sometimes they will sell the short-term bond to push the demand down, to flood the market with short-term bonds to make it look like people are not only more interested in the long-term bond, but less interested in the short-term bond. It's faking it. It's pantomiming. And it's also robbing Peter to pay Paul. Now, we haven't technically done this yet. We haven't done yield curve control yet because that's done by central banks. But we have done it. We just did it with the Treasury Department instead of the central bank. The Treasury Department went ahead and took in a bunch of, it was like this, I forget what exact kind of debt it was, but they went ahead and they sort of transmuted some debt into funds that they could use to buy the long-term bond. That's what they did. And but it's not yield curve control. It isn't like Europe's been doing forever because the central bank didn't do it. The Treasury did it, right? It's semantics. We're doing it, and anytime you see yield curve control happening, you're looking at usually an economy that has gone so far socialist that now they're going into a fiscal black hole. They've at the event horizon and there's no return. I don't know if we've seen any country that has participated in yield curve control that hasn't spiraled into massive inflation. So that's pretty much where we're going next, unless the laws of physics somehow change, the laws of financial physics. So that hopefully explains it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole entire thing, folks.
Inflation.
Yeah.
Market go up, but money no buy anything. Market go up, but $100 buys you half a loaf of bread.
Yeah. Well, I got some more new exciting news that on the surface that most normies will be like, oh, this is great, very good news, oh, wonderful. But this is just a reordering and a reshuffling. Now, let me explain. And this is also, folks, our monetary system is also maintained by a significant amount of drug money. I don't know if you guys know that, but a lot of the money that's made off of drugs are flushed back into the system. We are the largest money launderers for narcotics and human trafficking on God's green earth. Markets go where the money is, and this is why the United States leads the world in child trafficking, sex trafficking, human slavery, as well as narcotics, because we're, chosen by God himself. Anyway, DEA seizes 7,500 kgs of coke, arrests 617 members of the Sinaloa Cartel. That's old El Chapo's group in global operation. The Drug Enforcement Administration reported last week that they had arrested 617 members of the Sinaloa Cartel in a global operation. The week-long operation aimed to dismantle the Sinaloa Cartel, which has been flooding the United States with fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin, the DEA said in a statement. In addition to the 617 arrests, the DEA seized narcotics, including 480 kilograms of fentanyl powder. That's enough to kill every man, woman, and child on the United States and Canada. 717,707 counterfeit pills, 2,200 kilograms of methamphetamine, 7,400 kilograms of cocaine. That's just a ton of shit, bro. Holy cow. And 16.55 kilograms of heroin. And as Alicia Marquez reported below for the Epoch Times, the DEA also seized more than 11 million in currency and over 1.6 million worth of assets, and 420 firearms and a partridge in a pear tree, cowboy. A partridge in a pear tree. The thing is, folks, this is just reordering. Sinaloa kept things clean. Sinaloa, is a popular and often looked at by local villagers within Mexico, within the Sinaloa region, as modern day Robin Hood figures, right? And for the longest time, this cocaine import agency, also euphemistically known as the CIA, Central Intelligence, not much intelligence going on over there, folks, but Central Intelligence Agency, they've had a long-standing partnership, and what occurred is the CIA gets a cut of the trade. The Sinaloa they keep their profits, and everybody's hunky-dory. Everybody's hunky-dory. And it's to the point where the Sinaloa Cartel was the primary reason that gang violence in places like LA practically disappeared. Why? Because the Sinaloa went in ahead and started taking out all the Bloods and the Crips. All the other rival gangs were dismantled and destroyed and killed by Sinaloa because they don't want any noise. They want smooth, quiet operation. These guys are like old school mobsters. They had a rule of law. They had ethics. No women and children, no innocent bystanders, and that stuff. But at some point, and I don't know exactly the reason why, the relationship between the cocaine import agency and the Sinaloa Cartel fell apart. And when it started to stress and strain, usually has to do with money and control and assets and fees and this, that, and the other. The cocaine import agency needed to look elsewhere. Lo and behold, the cocaine import agency has many, many assets within the Mexican military. One of those assets is a colonel whose name I forget, but a colonel in the Mexican Marines who was tapped to be the new leader of a CIA created cartel called Nuevo Jalisco, or New Generation, right? New Generation is not like Sinaloa. They are completely violent. They are absolutely nut jobs, and they are they don't care. There's no rules to them. They will kill women and children. They will behead children if they wanted to. And here's a hallmark, folks. Here's a hallmark about the Nuevo Jalisco, the new generation cartel. They are occultic. Many people, this is public knowledge, have seen various occultic, satanic paraphernalia in attachment to these cartel operations. Wow. If that's not a tell that these guys are somehow Western created, American, U.S. backed and created, I don't know what is. The American deep state can't leave their occultism alone. They can't leave their occultism alone. They can't leave their Satanism by itself. They got injected everywhere. Oh, yeah. So now with, oh, my God, the seizure of DEA seizing the Sinaloa cartel, which is at war with New Generation. Folks, this is basically the deep state eliminating the competition. That's all it is. This news, which is supposed to make the normies mentally masturbate themselves into a tizzy about some sort of white hats and trust the plan, all it is clearing the decks from competition. And when new generation has run its course, they'll be removed too. Just like the Medellin cartels and all the other cartels before them. Ask the Colombians what happened. Ask the Colombians. So this is another take in this, because why? Why is the drug trade so important? Cowboy, you remember what caused the financial collapse of 2008? Was it because a bunch of people had subprime mortgages and that imploded and then that was it?
No, that could have been held up, by derivatized collateral.
Yeah. Cowboy, what kind of news was coming out in 2008 that we heard of when this collapse occurred? Who pulled out a great deal of capital out of the U.S. banking system, causing a lot of the American derivatives market to daisy chain, imploding the subprime and the mortgage-backed securities market?
Gosh, I don't know. Could it be cartels?
Ooh, correctamundo. And one of the major banks that was involved in that was Wachovia. Or Wachovia. Y'all remember Wachovia? Oh, yeah.
I think I had an account there.
Yeah, I knew people who had an account at Wachovia as well. Yeah, good old Wachovia.
I think it was a Great Western, became Wachovia, became fucking who cares? Anyway.
And then on top of that, right, we've had also HSBC, which is a notorious for the longest time City of London Corporation, banking member. And they were also cleaning and laundering money for the cartels. And that's no longer. So that's what the actual cause of the 2008 financial collapse. The drug trade is so important to these people, folks. It's so important. That's how important it is, man. It's unbelievable because, what the drug trade, now you add what we do with the drug trade, right? And then you add what we do with our stock trading, right? With these investors like Larry Ellison. How are we a real country, bro?
I said, I think we were a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that it's like we used to be 80% real and 20% fake, and now we're probably closer to 2080. So I look at it like a black hole, an event horizon. We were forced to go this way, right? Since 1913, we allowed the Europeans, or depending on if you talk to Matthew Arrett or EM, I think there's not a lot of daylight between them on who it is. But long story short, we let them in. We let them into our banking system, and because we did that, they forced us down this path. And through this path, we gained a lot of international control. We got our military and all these things. And I'm not going to say that we've won all these wars and anything, but we do have a lot of force projection military. So because of that, I think that the only way out is through. I think we have to continue this for basically stability's sake. I know EM wrote a pretty good paper on this regarding how even Russia and China, they're not trying to knock us down. We have a lot of bases around the world the current situation, whether it is ultimately good or bad, is kind of controlled by us in a certain way. So with that said, if we just simply disappeared, then we'd have 28 little Israels running around. So they don't want us to go away, but I think there's going to have to be a die-off of our system, and then what's left of the real economy can come back. So I think we have some reality to us.
Yeah.
I know plumbers, I know machine shop operators, I know guys in our country that make real things. It's just that we need to slough off the we need to slough off the, what do you call it, the parasite.
Yep.
And that could mean, that basically our country has to die and come back alive. Like we need the shock paddles out, so when we flatline, someone can bring us back, and then we're probably going to go through 20 years of what freaking USSR went through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they're doing good now, right?
They're doing great. We need to slough off, and we need to liquidate certain billionaires and certain characters that have way too much access to the levers and control. Or we need to bring them to heel, or they need to get the hell out of this country. It's what the Russians did. It's what the Russians did. It's what the Chinese did. We need to do the same thing. Otherwise, there's no future for us, man. Otherwise, there's no future.
I think that they would go scorched earth on us if we try to kick them out before they're done with their crap. So, it's a weird sort of nexus of how bad things have to get in order for them to be kick-outable. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see him go right now, but I think they would just trash everything anyway. So it's kind of a weird gamble as to, do we kick him out now or kick him out later, which is better? I mean, I would say now, except that I know the system that we have. I know how to make money with the system that we have. And I'd rather that take some time so that, we could even position ourselves better for that change. So selfishly, I would like for that to go away. And I do also think EM is on to something with the whole stability aspect. I think that the empire needs to pull back slowly so that we don't end up with a bunch of Israels running around out there. That's the way I see it.
Yep. I agree wholeheartedly. Anything else you want to add, brother?
No, I think we've ran the gamut this morning.
Yep. Very well said. And with that being said, folks, we're at the end of the show. We will be back tomorrow. Keep it locked and loaded right here. We have the one and only Ben's Contrarian Corner.
That's right.
Kellerman's Corner.
Kellerman's Corner.
I think we have Singleton joining us as well. And so that should be fun. So Singleton will be I think at 2:00 tomorrow. So keep it locked and loaded right here, guys. And with that being said, we are over and out. Take it away, Cowboy.